just when you think you've said it all, I'm always finding easier and clearer and simple ways to say things. So a few months ago, before the holidays, I sat down and wrote this. And it's all new. It's just coming from a different perspective. You know, I used to do a lot of sports, different type of sports. Not the sports most people do, but different types. And you learn how to do something, and if any of you have ever taken tennis lessons or skiing lessons or anything like that, you learn how to do something, and I'll use skiing as an example. And most of you probably don't ski, but one instructor will say, you know, shift the weight, and then as it turns downhill, keep the weight there, and then slowly shift it, and you'll kind of get it. And then another instructor will say, hey, it's like riding a bicycle. Just think of pumping up and down. And once in a while, an instructor will say something, and it just clicks. Okay, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be presenting the same message of natural healing and herbal medicine, but from different perspectives, so we can just get this audience bigger and bigger and bigger. Not this audience. We tried to keep this one down. But just so you have better ways of hearing it and getting it. And so I wrote this coming from a very different perspective, and I'd like to just go over a few of the things in here now. Okay, it's an all-new book. And the foreword, who's this book for? Well, it dawned on me that every patient that walked in my door was in a little bit of a panic. And so this is who I wrote it for. Hilda and my team from the pharmacy store will tell you that most people that walk in the pharmacy store are a little bit panicked. And why? Because we just went to a medical doctor and we got our annual checkup, or you know, that bump that we've had for a few years, we finally had it looked at, or that pain, we had it checked out, and you know what? We're messed up. There's something wrong with us. Well, I used to tell my patients, there's something wrong with all of us, everybody in this room, because none of us are perfect. We all got stuff, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We got stuff. We have some stuff. Big deal. And but when a doctor tells you that, we often go into a state of panic. And so this book addresses, this is for everybody, no matter what's wrong with them, what to do when they're told that. Now, most of you have been told that. You have friends that are told that. This is going to be a book we're going to plant like seeds, like the 20 Steps book. But that's really what it's about. You know, during, I don't know if anybody knows the Keep Calm and Carry On. It was a British thing. But in World War II, they were getting bombed day and night. The Germans had built up forces. They were ready to be invaded at any moment. And people were panicking. And the government made this poster, Keep Calm and Carry On. And nowadays people have taken it to all, you know, I saw one the other day, keep calm and go shopping, you know. People have used it. And I thought, what about keep calm and get healthy? Because my patients, our customers, if you haven't been in a state of panic, which I think all of you have been, you will be. It happens at some time or another. Because doctors are great salesmen. They're great salesmen. And if you don't buy the car, they go, well, that's okay, but you're probably going to die. Imagine if they did that at Dodge or Chevy. They said, well, I know there's a lot of cars out there. You don't have to buy this Dodge, but if you don't, you're going to die. Okay, that's a great closer. What they say in sales is a closer. It's a great closer. It scares the hell out of us. And we end up doing things that we normally wouldn't do, like paying them tens of thousands of dollars to stick needles in our neck and all sorts of crazy stuff. So my job, most of my life, my job was calm down, calming people down. Hey, I know they said you got to deal with this immediately, but that doesn't mean we don't have 2 days, that we can stretch to 2 weeks, and let's see what happens when we get healthy. So that's really where the title came from. Inside the book, I talk about the medical approach, and then I talk about the natural approach. So you can see what the differences are and what I did with people. Calm them down, reassure them that their body will in fact heal themselves, and then teach them how to live a new way that will make their body do so. How natural healing works. I have my favorite affirmations in here. You all know you can heal yourself of anything. Just stop doing what you're doing that makes you sick and start doing what will create powerful health. That's the secret answer to my whole clinic and all the work I do. Most of my patients that came in were sick because of what the doctor was giving them to be better. Think about that. And the rest of it was caused by their lifestyle. But if you want another one, I always like tomorrow is what you do and believe today. You got to believe it up here, but then you got to put the action behind it. I've got this one from Star Wars, the Jedi Knight. Your focus determines your future. I like that one. Your focus determines your future. But my favorite one in the book here is focus on the good to eliminate the bad. That's how simple natural healing is. We don't focus on the bad. We don't focus on the cancer. We don't focus on the Lou Gehrig's disease. We don't focus on the Parkinson's disease or the Tourette's syndrome. We don't focus on the peptic ulcers or the gastric reflux disease. We don't focus on the blocked coronary arteries. We don't focus on the clot in Hillary Clinton's brain. Okay? We don't focus on disease. We don't focus on the negative. That's why we don't watch the 6 o'clock news. We're not like ostriches putting our head in our sand. We just don't focus on the bummer. Our focus is on the good. I would get my patients, stop it. They'd come in. You imagine the piles of stuff, x-rays, angiograms, blood tests, weird stuff that I didn't even know what it was. And I had a big barrel, and I'd grab it all and throw it in the trash as they would wrestle me, crying, punching me, trying to get back everything they invested in. And they go, but that's all my test results. And I go, that part is over. That's focusing on the bad. That's one way you can try to heal yourself. Find out what's bad and poison it out or cut it out or whatever. But the other way is just focusing on the good. Focusing on what's going on in your head when you wake up in the morning. Focus on the first thing you do. For me, it's a little bit of flaxseed tea with a little bit of juice. I like to take that soothing drink right down in the morning. Then what's the next thing I do? I move my butt. I go out for a walk around the neighborhood, or I hit the treadmill, or I'm like, it's morning for the sit-up bench, or I do my yoga, whatever it is. I'm focusing on the good. That's what our job is, focus on the good. And I do that all day long, till the last thoughts I have at night. This is the biggest one if we get it today. Focus on the good. Forget the disease. I'll give you 2 hints. One is, mankind isn't smart enough to invade our body. There's too many mysteries inside. Oh, we think we do. We can put a baboon heart in you and you'll live for a few more months or whatever. And we do almost miraculous things, but we just don't know enough. And we don't know what's wrong with you either. You know, the Mayo Clinic, I think, hit 20% correct diagnosis. Where does that put your average doctor? Where does that put a pediatrician or a veterinarian? At 2? Okay? We don't know what's wrong with you and we don't know how to fix it. But I do know if you give yourself the opportunity by creating a healthy lifestyle, your body can heal itself of anything. Heard that one before. So that's a message throughout this book. But I said it in 2 ways. Okay, look into the mirror. Look into the mirror. Why? Because what you are right here, right now, is a blend of 2 things. Your genetics and your environment. And your genetics are water under the bridge and you can't change it. That's mom, that's dad, that's genetics. But what you can change is your environment. You don't have to live out your family history of stuff. And I talk about that. My patients were panicked. I had a patient just call me the other day. He had a real high PSA count. Okay, this was probably, everything seems like the other day to me, even when I was 18. I don't know why that is. Moving at the speed of sound. But probably a year ago, this guy called me, said my PSA levels are really high. And they want to do an 8-needle biopsy. And I go, what's that? And he goes, well, they're going to put 8 needles in between my testicles and my anus and rip out some stuff. And I'm like, what do you do? Like go to James Bond or what? And I've had many patients with this before. And I said, so what was your PSA count prior to this test? And he goes, I've never had one. And I go, well, how do we know if it's high? You know, in order to know anything, you've got to be able to connect 2 dots. You know, where are the dots going? I mean, if I'm going from, if I'm going from LA to New York and I hit Hawaii, I'm probably not going the right way. But if I hit Oklahoma, I know I'm going in the direction. This guy's PSA number was here. High compared to what? High compared to who? And so he didn't have one before, so I don't know if it's going up or going down. He could be getting better. I don't know. I said, I don't know about you, but I'd rather make a morning drink, have a few superfood bars, move more, do a little more yoga, this or that, than put 8 needles somewhere between my balls and my butt. Woo! And so he did that. Never thought about it again, and got better. And now, of course, what do they say? That test is invalid. That's what everybody says now. The PSA test is invalid. He called me up recently and said, thank you so much for helping me decide not to put needles in my perineum. Okay, and then the steps come. The first steps, calm down. And I give you all sorts of reasons why you need to calm down. And all the people that came to me that had an hour to live and a day to live and a month to live and that are still living now, you got to do something. When someone tells you got a week or a year to live, doctors are smart guys and ladies, okay? They're pretty smart people. And they know things, but they're also expecting you to be the average American eater, thinker, drinker. And you're not. And so they don't know what's going to happen to you, and these are all the ways to make that not happen. I talk a lot about food programming here. I talk a lot about food supplements and morning drinks. I talk a lot about elimination. All the things that you all know, but I talk about it in words you haven't heard before. Because as I'm getting older, I'm getting much more foul-mouthed. No, I'm only kidding. But just I talk about it in ways that you haven't thought about it or heard before. Immune system boosting, what I did with everybody, moving, resting, sleeping, the importance of all those that I saw in the clinic, emotional healing, the importance of getting your emotions right, so your immune system and everything works right. I always say in my clinic, when a person would come in less than 2 minutes, I knew if they were going to make it or not. Because I could see it, I could hear it, I could feel it. You can tell the winners from the losers. The losers are scared, have excuses, are whining, I can't do that. And the winners are like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. The winners, I've had winners that are so powerful. I mean, if you start talking any crap around them, they stick up their hand. Here's my hand. You should carry something like this around with you, and when someone tries to bring up some crap, go, dude, or do this. I'm not going to listen to that. No, thank you. Okay. Look, I even put the hand in there. Talk to the hand. Don't talk to me. The power of emotional healing, some spiritual healing. I was going home on Pacific Coast Highway during the rush hour. It's gridlocked. It's bumper to bumper. I think I was going 1. And there's a guy blocking traffic. Not only are you going 1, but now there's a guy blocking traffic. And he's got a flat tire. And, it's a guy that's, working in someone's garden. He doesn't have much. I don't even think he had a spare. So I push him off the road. And people are honking at me now, and this woman honked at me, and as she went by, I looked, and she was like, and her bumper sticker said, "Imagine world peace." And I really got it. You got to do more than imagine. You got to live it. So my step 9 is sharing the positive, sharing the love. I don't just put up my hand to people, but I explain to them why I'm putting up my hand, and I give them a higher path to follow. We have some specific herbal treatment, and then in the back, a quick reference chart on all the steps I put in here. What is natural healing? All my favorite affirmations. Positive affirmations. Stories about affirmations. Because it's so important. Tomorrow's what you believe and do today. But you got to believe it. You got to have it up here. My 10 Commandments. And a poem from my dead patients, which I always like to put in. I even wrote about that. And I even wrote a new story about the company. Like I said, just about everything in here is brand new. Told some stories about the company. Anyway, you have one of those. Keep calm and get healthy. You're going to use it at some point in your life because someone's going to try to scare the crap out of you. And you got to stay strong, breathe, relax, stay calm, and realize focus on the good. Focus on the good. Focus on the good.
Ukoliko želite da studirate prirodnu medicinu iz svog stana putem interneta, posjetite sajt institutpm.com ili zakonizdravlja.com. Upis je otvoren tokom cele godine.